Eselbank Pass connects the Moravian mission village of Wuppertal with its sister village of Eselbank to the south in a high-altitude part of the Cederberg. The pass is 10.5 kilometers long and is very steep in places, but these sections have been concreted, which greatly assists with traction. The pass has an average gradient of 1 in 21, but the steep sections get as steep as 1 in 5. You'll be able to enjoy fabulous mountain scenery along this pass and along the summit plateau area, where there are beautiful weathered sandstone formations as well as rooibos tea plantations. Allow plenty of time to complete the route through to Maatjiesrivier, at least 90 minutes. The route starts in the southern section of the Wuppertal village. Follow the only track south over a low-level causeway, which is sometimes underwater. Should this be the case when you approach this bridge, apply the rule of, if you're not prepared to walk it, then don't drive it. The track sticks to the eastern bank of a tributary of the Tratra River for about 2 kilometers in the shadow of a long flat ridge known as Sunkop, which has an altitude of 606 meters, where the road ultimately forks. A sign at the fork warns that only 4x4 vehicles are recommended for the route. The left-hand road ends up some distance up the valley at a farm called Martinus Rus. Take the right-hand fork, which is a tight 150-degree hairpin where the road immediately begins climbing on a concrete base. Parts of the ascent are gravel or stony jeep track interspersed with short concrete sections. In places the concrete has started breaking up, resulting in quite a bumpy ride, but a steady slow speed of around 20 km per hour will ensure your passengers don't get bumped around too much. At the 1,5 kilometer mark, you'll arrive at the second sharp bend, which is a left-hand hairpin and which sees the road heading south again, climbing steadily for another 2 kilometers to the next switchback onto concrete. This section also alternates between stripped concrete sections and gravel. This part of the pass is known as Die Poort. Tire deflation is important on this road and offers several benefits. The ride will be softer and more comfortable, and traction improves considerably, with the chances of getting a puncture on the sharp rocks greatly reduced. We recommend a pressure of 1.4 bar or lower. To the left of the road you'll get exceptional views of the horizontally layered Valhjörningberg mountains, and if you stop for a breather and look back towards the north, you'll get a bird's-eye view of Wuppertal nestling in its green enclave at the bottom of the Tratra River valley. The deep valley to your left ends in a deep gorge and bears the rather sobering name of Moordenaarsgat. The tallest point of the Hörningberge is a peak called Spitskop and has an altitude of 1,078 meters. Overtaking on the pass is extremely difficult, even for motorcycles. The picturesque village of Wuppertal has been a Moravian mission station since 1865, although its origins are actually Rhenish. The name Wuppertal derives from the Wupper River in Germany, from where two Rhineland missionaries, Theobald von Wurm and Johann Gottlieb Leipold, who was the grandfather of renowned writer C. Louis Leipold, arrived in the Cape in 1829 to spread the gospel amongst the indigenous people. The two missionaries settled amongst the 7 Khoikhoi families in the valley and concentrated on their spiritual upliftment as well as to encourage farming. The population swelled shortly after slavery was abolished in 1838, and many freed slaves arrived from nearby farms. The village today consists of an old thatched church, a store, and terraces of neat thatch-roofed little cottages, and a meandering street with water flowing in furrows. Excellent veldskoene are made here, as well as tobacco which is dried and worked into rolls called roltobak. The main farming activity is rooibos tea. At the 3 kilometer point, the third hairpin makes its appearance. This bend is extremely sharp and turns through 150 degrees into the northwest. This section lasts for only 400 meters, where the fourth hairpin is reached at a small level area. This is a good point for descending vehicles to wait if they can see a vehicle climbing up the mountain, as there's sufficient space here for passing. It's also a good place to stop for photography, as the views to the northwest are impressive, with rugged mountains falling away into a deep valley. The altitude here is 760 meters, which translates into 273 meters of altitude, having been gained in just 3.5 kilometers. Those with four-wheel drive vehicles should remember to disengage the center diff lock on the concrete sections to prevent axle wind-up. Be sure to watch part 2 of this video series on the Eselbank pass, which deals with the second half of the pass.